to see Mr. Goodson, okay?
Yeah.
What I have to pay, 40.
$45 a month, only for the months that you're on supervision. But they'll go over that with you downstairs, okay?
All right.
And then we have Shakia Riley. Miss Riley, come on up. Miss Riley's coming up in 23-818 MM. Did Miss Bremer discuss Miss Riley's case with you?
Briefly, Your Honor, and it looks like she was able to make contact with or at least we got the victim impact statement returned. And there was a request for restitution.
Miss Riley entered a plea of no contest on the same date as Mr. Dixon, which was January the 8th. Miss Riley wanted to be sentenced and get it resolved. The problem was that Miss Bremer had not heard back from the alleged victim, and the question was whether or not the state was going to offer a PTI. So we explained to Miss Riley and her mother that it was possible a PTI would be offered if we set the sentencing off a few weeks and give the state more time. And so Miss Riley and her mother both said if the offer might get better, that they would just wait and get sentenced today. Is that right, ma'am?
Yes,
I explained that correctly? So she's here. It was either going to be probation or PTI, depending on what Miss Bremer found out.
So there is a request for $900 of restitution. If she's willing to agree to that, then the state would agree to offer her a PTI.
Do we know what that is for?
Yes, Your Honor. It says $300 for dental work and life management, and then it says $600 for lost wages.
Yeah, is there any documentation to support that?
She just sent in a victim impact statement.
Okay. So it sounds like she's trying to make money off of a criminal case, which obviously is not appropriate without some documentation. So there's two things we can do. If the state wants to offer the PTI, we can do the PTI reserve on restitution, have a hearing on restitution, or if the state doesn't want to offer a PTI, then we can try to get it resolved with probation.
The Ms. Bremer's comment just was that it looked like a significant battery. If she's claiming she had to get dental work as a result of it.
Without any documentation.
Without any documentation.
Where's Ms. Bremer at?
She's in trial with warrants.
Okay. So what do you want to do, Ms. Jeffcoat? Ms. Bremer is familiar with these cases, and yet she's sitting watching a trial instead of handling her own cases, which is bothersome to me, but I can't do anything about that.
We'll offer probation today, Your Honor.
Okay. So the state's offer is probation today. So what that means is you still have the same options that you had before. Yes, ma'am. You can come on up.
I just have a question, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I do have a packet myself that I have to send in for being the victim in the crime. This young lady was still incarcerated when we were here on the 8th. She was incarcerated. She was still incarcerated, and I'm just not understanding.
So I don't think Ms. Jeffcoat is familiar with the case. The prosecutor in the case has chosen to go to another courtroom for some reason instead of handling this case. But what Ms. Jeffcoat, what you missed was prior to this alleged victim is a defendant in a case involving you, correct, ma'am?
Yes, she stole my dog.
And so during the process of the dog recovery is when this young lady is accused of committing battery on this alleged victim.
Okay.
So there's a pending grand theft case. Is that person a juvenile or is it in the felony court? The alleged victim here?
I believe she's in felony court because the paperwork, I should have brought it with me, my apologies, but it also said she had narcotics on her.
So I think that's correct. I think that, so y'all have a pending felony against your alleged victim. And Ms. Jeffcoat doesn't know any of this because
sir.
she's covering for Ms. Bremer today. So, so here's your choice, okay? If you want to withdraw your plea, you got to turn that off.
I'm sorry.
Just turn it off. Okay, it needs to be totally off. So here's your choice, Ms. Riley.
Yes, sir.
Given the fact that they're requesting a bunch of restitution they have no documentation for, Ms. Jeffcoat's kind of in a difficult position because she's being asked to cover someone else's case and the case is not fully prepared as it should be. Remember the last court date I said why you've had plenty of time to contact your alleged victim. Well, now the alleged victim was in jail is part of the problem. So choice number one is to say, I want to start over. I want to withdraw my plea. I want to start over because you have no prior criminal history, correct?
Correct.
Yet the state's not offering you a PTI, and the reason they're not is because there's this restitution that the alleged victim's asking for, but they don't have documentation for it yet. She may be able to get documentation. She may have several $100s worth of dental care. I don't know, but she's also charged with a felony herself. So choice number one is to say, I just want to start over, withdraw my plea, and let's go back and let's start from the beginning. I'm going to ask for the public defender's office to represent me and go through the case from the beginning. If you take that choice, you're going to have to come back to court. Choice number two is to say, I want to go ahead and get resolved today. I don't want to continue this any longer. I don't want to have to keep coming back up here. If you take choice number two, I'm going to sentence you to probation. That's all I can do. And I want to reserve jurisdiction on restitution. So there's going to be a hearing on restitution. If you take choice number two, it's not a PTI. It's not a first offender program. It's probation. The state's not offering you the first offender program for the reasons I've already said. Okay. Ms. Bremer, did I miss anything?
No, Your Honor, you didn't miss anything. If the defendant was arrested the day of the battery and she's still at the jail, I don't think she's going to be entitled to any lost wages because that would be.
That's a good question. When was the defendant in your case, ma'am, the one lady that stole the dog, she was arrested? Okay. Do you know her name?
What's her name?
I guess Quadisha Johnson.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Quadisha Johnson.
Johnson?
Yes.
Okay. Let's try to get Ms. Shapko a little more information. Johnson, Quanisha.
Yes, sir.
Let's see what I can find on that name. That would be interesting, Ms. Shapko. She's requesting lost wages for time that she was in jail, if that's what's happening.
Yeah, because that's not going to be as a result of the crime. That's going to be the result of her arrest.
There's no recent case on anyone named Quan Johnson. I just searched Quan because I didn't know how to spell it. Quan is what I tried. So let's check the calendar for Judge Garcia's court. When did she have felony court? You say she just got out. When did she have felony court, Gary?
I could step out and make a phone call.
It's okay. When did Judge Garcia have felony court? She had it this week.
We had, the last time we had
Trials this week.
felony court, Your Honor, was on the 16th of this month.
Okay, thank you. Let me check the docket for the 16th. And let's see if there was a Johnson on that docket. There is a Quanisha Johnson, Quanisha Nicole Johnson. But this is a 19 case. So it's a VOP. So let's see. The VOP mentions a petty theft and a possession of controlled substance without a prescription. So she's got a new charge of that. And let's see if I can find the new case, 23-677 CF. That's going to be it probably. So in that case, first appearance, let's see the complaint. What date was Miss Riley's complaint? 12/15 offense date. Okay, the complaint in this case, Ms. Jeffcoat, says 12/15 Hartsville is placed under arrest.
Okay.
Excuse me. Did it say Hartsville?
Yeah, I think that's.
It's under the Quenisha Nicole Hartsfield in the complaint. That's why it's causing
So those are the same offense dates, right, Your Honor?
same offense dates.
So-
And she, at first appearance, she was set a bond by the judge, no contact with Shakia Riley, which is you. So
Oh.
she had a condition, no contact with you, and there's no indication she ever posted bond, and she's still in jail. So I'm not sure how she had lost wages when she went in jail.
Yeah, so Judge, I'm sorry to change directions on you, but while she's here, if she still wants to resolve it, the state would agree to a PTI and reserve restitution for the dental work if she can prove it. I don't know that she'll be able to prove it, but the state's not going to seek any restitution for lost wages when she's in jail.
Okay, ma'am, I think that was your whole point, ma'am, do you have any questions about that before your daughter makes a decision? No, she's an adult, but I want you to make sure you have any questions.
I understand solely about it, and
Okay.
I just would like the same information about the dental work,
Okay.
because it wasn't.
Well, and I don't know how she's had a chance to go to a dentist if she's been in jail.
Right.
So, Ms. Riley, this is the first offender program that Ms. Bremer explained to you last month was a possibility. It basically means that it's just like probation, except when you get through with it, the case is dismissed. The downside to a PTI is you still got terms to do, you still got things you got to complete, and if you don't do those things, you can go to jail. So you've got to take it seriously. But the good news is that if you do it, you'll have the case dismissed. It's basically it's for a year, but at the end of 6 months, if you've done everything you're supposed to do, then the case can be dismissed early. The court costs and fines are $270. Were there any other conditions, Ms. Jeffcoat? Was there any kind of anger management or anything?
Yeah, no contact and anger management.
No contact with the alleged victim and anger management counseling, which is a typical condition of battery cases. So, Ms. Riley, do you want to do that, participate in that PTI program with those conditions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll show your case referred to the PTI program. I'm gonna need you to see Mr. Goodson here, Ms. Riley. This resolves the case. I am reserving jurisdiction for 60 days on restitution. Like Ms. Jeffcoat said, if they want restitution, then they're gonna have a hearing and show that they're entitled to it. And they may be able to, but she can't collect lost wages if she got arrested on something of her own doing.
I have a question about the lost wages. She has to have a job in order. to
Absolutely.
have-
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, she's.
And she would have to be able to go to work she would have to have a job and she have to miss work because of this case, because of her injuries.
Okay,
And she missed work because she's in jail. That's not the same thing.
I looked up a lot about her, and I asked around, because we're new here. We're from New Jersey, and she picked up my dog out my yard and put him in a bag because he's very small. And since this, it's just been ongoing about my puppy. And it's really getting aggravating.
Well,
And she didn't have a job. The people where they found her at with my dog popped up out of her jacket. Where they found her at, the people say she'd been sleeping around.
But my suggestion is you just focus on Miss Raleigh, make sure she does what she's supposed to do, get this case behind her and get it dismissed, okay? So Mr. Goodson, see Mr. Goodson here. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
It is Quanisha Hartsfield, but apparently it's AKA Quanisha Johnson.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Riley. Wish you the best. Ms. Jeffcoat, anything else, ma'am?
Nothing further, Judge.
Thank you for covering and filling in. It's 9:13. We're through with first